So let's have an honest conversation about this job, shall we? I don't think I've ever really just been honest about the job. See, originally I worked downtown for the downtown Sacramento partnership. They gave us these ugly yellow shirts, and we were told to walk around and assist. What assist really meant was chase homeless people away from buildings that pay for our service so that we appear a certain way. We needed to appear like we were helping the homeless without actually helping the homeless. It took me almost a year working at that job to realize that's what was going on. And at that point, I kind of lost my passion for it. See, I took the job because I wanted to be able to help people. As a former homeless person, I wanted to be able to help people who, fell on hard times. They just needed an opportunity to get their shit together. What I found was this was a company that did not want to help people, and most of the homeless people didn't want the help because it meant giving up drugs or giving up being homeless or, giving up the little bit of money they had. They couldn't drink, they couldn't do drugs, they couldn't just do what they wanted. They had to conform to a system, and they didn't want to do that. And if that meant I have to sleep on the streets to do what I want to do, well, damn it, that's what they did. And I found myself emotionally worn out very quickly. And ultimately, I'm glad that I was able to walk away from that job, even if it wasn't on my own accord. Like, had they not fired me, I would still be there, still doing it, still killing myself, trying to help other people. I only bring up DSP because at the time, I was convinced that if you removed the emotional aspect from it, which I just was incapable of doing, like I just couldn't do it. I cared about people too much. But if you eliminated that aspect of the job was just easy. It was just walking around. It was just walking around and answering questions. You should be able to do that, right? But it's hard to take the emotional aspect out of it, and walking away from that job was a good thing. Now you fast forward over a year and a half to this job. I'm mobile security. Mobile security. They give me a truck, and it's just my job to make sure that things go smoothly at a station. That usually means no smoking. That usually means in the summertime, put on your shirt, or no loud music at the station. Got to make sure people don't fight at the stations, that kind of thing. And I find that this job is much easier than DSP because, one, there's nobody over your shoulder making sure you're doing the job. They trust you to do the job. Secondly, I'm not here to help the homeless. I'm here to make sure that things run smoothly at stations. You need help getting a ticket? I got you. Need directions? I got you. Just, hey, where's such and such from here? Depending on the station, I got you. So this job is much easier, but it's coming to an end. Through no fault of my own, this job is coming to an end. I'm starting to feel as though I am not going to get the call from regional transit, and that's fine. I've made peace with that. But come June 30th, wow, it's like there's always something going on, like my eye itches or something. I feel like I'm just being fidgety. But come June 30th, this job will be over. What does that mean for guards? I don't think a lot of people have really put forth the effort and the energy to concern themselves with it. They just feel as though the company won't fire them. They'll just find somewhere else for them to be. And that's fine. Because In my mind, this contract being over doesn't mean it's the end of my employment. It just means it's the end of this contract, which means you'll have to put me somewhere else or you'll have to lay me off until something else comes up. That being said, part of me kind of hopes that they do just lay me off. And they lay me off until something comes up, and the amount of money that I make here, if I only made half of this on unemployment, it would still be the equivalent of what I was making when I was at DSP. And I know for a fact that that can pay the bills. So part of me wants to get laid off so that I can collect unemployment, recharge my batteries. Well, I'm so tired. And start plotting my next move. But there's also a part of me that would like them sometime in June to come to me and say, hey, we've got a contract for you. It's somewhere in Sacramento. It's close by, or at least there's a train ride away. And here's a contract. It's 40 hours a week. It's not the amount of money you were making in the truck, but it's still, 12, 13 bucks. It's still 40 hours a week, no overtime, but you get 2 days off a week, and, you might have to work a little hard. I don't know what this new PG&E contract entails. PG&E is a light company, by the way. So I don't know if I'll get put there or if I'll just be in front of a Walgreens or if they'll pluck me down in a hospital or at a Department of Human Assistance. I mean, I don't know what other contracts this company has, but hopefully it'll be something in the area that I can still get to. And it may even be easier than this. I really didn't think any job was going to get easier than DSP. Like, again, you have to eliminate the emotional aspect from it. If you pulled all of that out, it was just walk around in an ugly yellow shirt and kick it. Then I got this job, and the uniform, come on, it's much better uniform than DSP's uniforms. But it's essentially the same thing. Walk around and help people. Customer service. If I can get a job that's remotely close to this, then that'll be good. Like, this company, I found, celebrates the no news is good news policy. They don't give a shit what you do at the stations as long as nobody complains about what happens at the stations. They just want things to go smoothly. I get that. I want things to go smoothly. So hopefully they'll put me somewhere where I can continue to do my thing. I'm not a lazy person, but I'm kind of lazy. I'm kind of lazy. It's funny because I don't do nearly as much as I receive credit for. But I still feel as though I do more than the average guard. There are many guards who stand at their stations because they have no break room and no bathroom because they have to stand there. And they're kind of dicks to people who come up and want tickets. Then you have people who have break rooms at their stations and they never step foot on the station itself. And when they don't do that, something goes wrong. They get caught up in something and they get removed from that station. Me, I have been, it's funny because if you look at the past videos, when I first got the job, it's like, oh, I really like Mather. Then I had Mather in the mornings for a while. And then they switched me back to, I think it was Broadway. And then I was back at Mather, and I was like, oh, look, it may look like Mather's going to be my permanent station. Then it wasn't. Then they put me back there again, and I've been there consistently for months. Like, If I wasn't working a special assignment, like I'm at Wild Man Love now, and sometimes I would come down here for special assignments. So if it wasn't for a special assignment, like a concert or something, I've just been at Mather. I think that if they had received complaints about me at all in any way, then I would have been moved immediately. But because things tend to run smoothly at my station, why rock the boat? Why shake things up? Everything's working fine. So I think that's why I ended up at my station for so long. But as much as I don't do, I still do more than most. And that's funny to me. I'll walk you through a typical day at my station, and Lord forbid if anybody would ever see these like me and all kind of shit. I'm a crafty person. I can't do anything that I can't justify to a superior. Because if I'm looking for it, if I'm looking for a way to avoid it, if I can think of it, then I'm assuming that anybody with a higher position of authority will also think about that. So typically, my shift starts at the station at 3 p.m. Now, while I'm working a 9-hour shift, I can't, in my mind, justify taking a break before 5 o'clock. Because if I'm sitting in the break room at 3:30 and my boss rolls up, he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" I can't say, "Whoo, needed a break. I've been here a half an hour." Like, that makes no sense. But if I was on my station, wow, completely lost my train of thought there. Where was I going? If I'm on the station and 2 hours have gone by, California law says I'm entitled to a 15-minute break. So what will happen is at 5 o'clock, I'll go sit in the break room until 5:30. Now, I can get away with that for two reasons. One, California law says I'm entitled to that break. Two, if my boss walks in at, say, 5:20, says, "Hey, what are you doing?" Well, I'm sitting in the break room, taking my first break. Not that it ever comes up. Not that that ever happens, but if it did, I'd be ready. You know? So from 5 to 5:30 is my first 15-minute break. I know it's bad math, but that's how it works. So at 5:30, I'm back out at the station until 6. This is typically because there's a state worker. His name's Todd. And Todd and I have very interesting discussions as we wait for his train. So from 5:30 to 6, I'm more than likely on the station just talking to Todd, which is cool. So at 6 o'clock, I take another 15-minute break. But this one lasts until like 6:30, quarter to 7. And around 6:30, quarter to 7, I go back out to the station. Now again, especially if I didn't see anybody at 5, which I never do, I can justify being in the break room at, say, 6:30. What are you doing? I'm taking a break. So around 6:45, I typically hang out on the station until 7:30. Because after 7:30, the trains are running once every half an hour. So there's nothing to miss within that 30-minute window. Like, a train's not going to come up and I'm not going to miss anything. So at 7:30, I call what they say is a facility break. Funny, when I'm at the station, it's called a facility break. But if I'm in the truck, it's just a code 7 for a break. So I don't know how that works. But from there, I walk down to Carl's Jr., which is a couple blocks away from the station. I grab a couple of cheeseburgers, something to drink, and I head back to the station. I kick back and I eat. I don't even get back to the station until almost 8. And then I sit and I eat, and by 8:15, 8:20, I'm done eating, assuming I'm taking my time, or maybe I'm doing something on my phone. So then I'm kind of finished. But I don't necessarily go back out to the station. Like, between the hours of 8 and midnight, I might step onto the station once or twice. Just once or twice to walk back and forth, to have my presence be known. Now, at 9:55, typically there's a guard who works a different station, and he has to come down this way to drop off his radio and then head home. So typically, I like to be out there when he gets off. Not because he's a snitch and he's gonna say anything, but as he rolls up and I'm just standing there, especially if I'm standing there like I'm not waiting for him, it looks as though I've been out there all night. It's the kind of thing. It's as an employer, I would ask other employees, hey, when you pull up, is the guard out there? And guard 49 has no choice but to say, yeah, I see him out there every time I pull up. So that just looks good for me. So once he leaves, which is 8:50, no, 9:55 to about 10, we have a quick conversation, fist bump, and then he heads off to wherever he goes. I presume it's home. But then from 10 to midnight, I'm literally just, again, in the break room. I'm on my phone, bought a laptop. I'm doing some writing, which I'll probably be doing today. And I just hold off until 11:45. Now, typically, I will have already broken everything down and I'm prepared to leave by 11:30. But I wait till 11:45 because in the distance, you can see the train on its way. The last train comes at 11:50. So once that last train pulls out of the station, I'm free and clear. Like nothing else is going to happen that night. So I pack everything up, and at 11:50 I go home. Usually about 12:05 I'm back home, and it's time to kick it with my family. That's typically the way a day works. I might be on the station for half my shift at best, but the quality of that time is something else. I get so many people who walk up to me and say, wow, you're really nice. Wow, you really helped. Hey, can you help me? Hey, how do I get here? I answer everybody's question. I'm really good at what I do. I'm a people person, which is funny because I hate people. Like, talk about a catch-22. I enjoy people, but I don't like groups of people. I suppose, like most people, especially in groups, they get a little stupid. They they tend to overinflate their abilities, and it's like they talk shit because they're in this group. And people tend to look down at people who are in customer service. What they don't understand, everybody's job is for something. Like, my job is to make sure you don't smoke at a station. If this company said at the station everybody needed to smoke, I'd be at the station handing out cigarettes, telling people to light up. It just so happens this company says no smoking. So guess what happens at my station? No smoking. I'm really good at what I do. I really am. I have a group of people whom I am used to talking to who are part of my everyday life. And I'm sad that this is coming to an end. But the same could be said for DSP. I'm making these comparisons because I need you to understand how these two things tie in. When I was at DSP, I used to love going to Old Sac, and there was a candy shop I used to like to go into, and I would talk to the people who worked there. And there was a yogurt shop, and I would talk to them. There was like a little game store. I would pop in there and talk to people. There was a jewelry store. I would go in there and I would talk to those people. And those people were part of my day, and it made my day easier. Much like talking to people like Todd or Jan, who's one of the bus drivers. There's a little old lady named Judy with a dog. I talk to her a lot. Like, these are people who are part of my day. And I'll miss it when it's gone. But I guarantee you, in 6 months' time, I won't even care. I won't even care. I'm not gonna be sitting around thinking about Judy. I'm not gonna be concerning myself with Todd and his horses. Like, 6 months after this job is gone, it'll be a pleasant memory, and I won't think less of them. But it won't bother me. So I'm saying that to say this. Whatever assignment they put me at next, it could be just as easy. Like, this company is notorious for, we just want things to run smoothly. And if things are running smoothly, they don't bother you. And I appreciate that. So I hope that that's a philosophy that will carry over to whatever assignment they give me next. I don't want to be doing something where I'm constantly on my feet in the summer outside. That would suck. But if that's the job, then I've said many times before they made their meals my permanent station, I will go where you send me. All I'm looking for is full-time work at a reasonable rate so that I can provide for my family. And if the next assignment does that, then I'm good. If they have to put me on unemployment until that happens, that's fine too. But I will not let the fact that regional transit took a pass at me, well, took a pass on me, not at me, took a pass at me, like they tried to holler at me. They didn't try to holler at me. They didn't want to hire me. Because they passed over me, that's fine, but I won't let that be the end. A long time ago, I did a video and I said I would not let this job define me. I would define the job. And I like to think that I have done that. I have taken a lot of rules that this company does, the ones that I think make sense, and I uphold them. But the ones that don't, to me, I look for ways around. And I've done that. I have defined this job. I have defined it, and I have done it well, because doing what I did, all the steps that I took, all the things that I did, landed me a supervisor position. So now I get to sit in the truck on the weekends. Well, Sunday and Monday. I get to sit in the truck and do even less and get paid more for it. Right now, with overtime, I'm getting close to $27 an hour. And that's ridiculous. Like, really? So, if the way they do things here is any indication of how they do things everywhere, I don't think there'll be a problem. Regional Transit was probably the biggest contract. I believe it was a $3 million contract. So if we're going out, if this is how we are for $3 million contracts, imagine what they must be like for the smaller contracts. You know, like, it's not like they're busting their ass for the little guy. You know, if this is the amount of effort that they put out for a $3 million contract, putting me on a $250,000 contract, I wouldn't expect a whole lot of things to change. I am here to observe and report. I am here when necessary to engage and enforce. But mostly, I am here as a presence. I am just in case something goes wrong. Kari said it best many, many months ago. You do not work. You trade your time for money. And that's true. I'm sitting here, like right now, it's 5:45 in the evening. I'll be sitting here till 10:30 at night. And my job is to just be here in case something goes wrong. They gave me this radio, which is broken, by the way. I had to put a rubber band on it because it was falling apart. So I listen out, and if something happens in my general vicinity, they'll send me out there. Typically, it's just somebody sleeping on a bench. Typically, it's somebody who's kicking a machine. You know, typically it's some teenagers getting in a fight. I mean, it's never anything like terrible. I did have a dude who was attempting suicide. I think it was last week, and I had to talk him down until police came. But other than that, like, nothing really happens here. And if this is the worst that I can expect, then, and again, this is a $3 million contract, I will expect a lot less to happen in much smaller contracts. So I'm really under the impression that wherever they're going to put me, wherever I end up, it'll be just as simple, if not more so. I can't imagine that they're going to put me in a place where it's much harder. You know, like, this was their top contract. So I think I'll be fine. So I concern myself with it though. This video is much longer than I anticipated it being, and I'm sorry about that if I'm babbling, but this is the kind of thing, these are the things I concern myself with in my mind. Like, I come home tired from a long day and just sitting here in the truck, or I'll come home tired after, being on the station for 40 hours, and it's tiring. So I can't imagine like being put somewhere and the work is like hard. Like, what's hard for a security guard? Standing in the sun, doing a lot of walking. Like, you're not gonna give me manual labor. I'm not like the hired help. I'm not gonna be like doing a bunch of lifting or a bunch of carrying. My job is to observe and report. Engage and enforce. That's why I'm here. So wherever they put me, it'll probably be just that. So I need to stop freaking out about this so much. I don't want to say that I'm freaking out, but I don't like the unknown. I don't like not knowing what's gonna happen next. But I brought DSP up, and I'm bringing it up again for this now because when I left that job at DSP, I was convinced that I would never find a job along those lines that was as easy. And this job is leaps and bounds easier. Like 75% easier. And I don't have to deal with the homeless. My interactions with the homeless is, hey, get the fuck out of here. Can't be here. Well, I'm tired and I'm homeless and I have no, you know what? That's fine. Go be homeless, not at my station. You can't be here at my station. And it's not me personally. I didn't spot the homeless guy and was like, let's go fuck with the homeless. They call me on the radio and they say, hey, there's a homeless guy. Move him along. We're not a company that hides under the guise of helping the homeless. We are here for paying customers. And if my company calls me on the radio and says, remove a guy, if he's homeless, if it's a guy in a business suit, if it's a lady with 4 kids, it doesn't matter to me. Get the fuck off the station. That's it. So, that being said, I'm sure that wherever I end up will probably be along the same lines. The only thing that I can think of that I wouldn't like is if they put me in an office building of some kind and I have to check badges or something. Like, that would suck. Because there would always be this rush of people coming in and out, and I would always have to check for badges. And then what happens if you don't have a badge and I don't let you up? Now they're going to go off on me. Well, you know me. I work here. And it's like, I understand that. But my job says you don't have a badge, you don't go up. So that could be an issue. But also, the upside to that would be what happens in the later evenings when nobody's coming or going. It would just be me sitting at a desk with my laptop doing some fucking writing. So that could be good. I don't know where I'm going to end up, but I am going to end up somewhere because I haven't done anything to lose this job. So I need to stop acting like, oh, the end of this contract is the end of our existence. I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm not the same dude I was, say, 6-8 months ago. Shit, even more than that. Like, I watched these videos from like a year ago where I just wanted to work, I just wanted to do right by my family. I just wanted to take care of things. And now I'm doing that, and I'm so proud of where we are and what we've accomplished, But at the same time, like, I don't know where I'm going to end up next, and I don't know to the extent of how much I'll be able to take care of my family will come from wherever they put me. But I have to tell myself, this is a company, it's a business. I am a body. I am a body who is a mobile supervisor for this company. I'm sure, like, it would make sense that if there's a mobile spot that comes up for another company, they would give it to me. Or at least some of the mobile guards that are here. And then if the job, it doesn't require me to drive around in the truck and do mobile type stuff, it's like, I'm still just security. Like, I'm just going to be secure in a place. How hard could that be? Like, if I have to get like one of those badges and I swipe and go beep and I open some of the doors or something, yeah, I mean, you can do that, but I'm still just security. I'm still just securing the place. Like, there won't be any heavy lifting, there won't be any running back and forth. It'll just be me securing the place in a different uniform. And my videos will look very different. I don't know if I'll be able to do them from work, or even if I can, if I will, so early on. It may wait until I get off. Like, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. But this is me having an honest conversation about it. This has worried me a little bit as we quickly come up on June 30th. Wow, June 30th snuck up on me hard. Like, I had no idea. Like, when they told us June 30th was the last day, that was like in March. June 30th felt like forever away. Now it's like 6 weeks away. So that means 6, 7 more paychecks, and then it's off to something else. So we'll see how it goes. This is a multi-million-dollar company. I mean, I don't think they make regional transit money, but I'm sure they do okay. And I work for this company, and they'll find something for me. And again, if they don't find something for me, then you have to give me unemployment. Do. And I would milk unemployment for a year. I would take this as an opportunity to rest up, recharge my batteries, pay the rent, kick it with my family, probably let all the weed leave my system. And from there, I just look for more security work, because if you remember, right after I got my guard card, which was the smartest $200 that I ever spent, when I first got the guard card, I was on a plethora of interviews. Like, every other day, I was out talking to somebody. I turned down a spot at DD's Loss Prevention to do this job. There was a mobile security spot that wanted me to come drive for them, but at the time I didn't have a license. People were calling me for work. So finding work in this field with my criteria, like for a job that I'm looking for a job that I would want, with the experience that I have gathered from DSP and from working directly with regional transit to now having supervisory position, so I've got that experience under my belt, I will find work. Like, and that's assuming I have to go looking for work. Like, work will be available to me. Absolutely. No doubt. Like, I'll take care of it. It'll be fine. So, I just need to stop freaking out so much. I need to stop letting things worry me so much. Like, my wife, who loves me dearly,